Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to my podcast on project management and leadership. I need help fellow project management practitioner focus on what matter most and getting done. If you are new to this channel, please do subscribe. And if you are new to these Clubhouse apps, please join my house. The link are available in my YouTube description or my social media posts. Okay, let's get started. Today, in conjunction of the International Women's Day, I have Sandy in the house. Sandy is a PMI Malaysia chapter woman in project management lead for 2024 and 2025. She is also a fellow PMP. Her background in finance, if I'm not mistaken, from the LinkedIn, and she is
Mhm.
currently working at UOB as a transformation manager, maybe. So, welcome, Sandy, and happy International Day to you.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me and to be
Okay.
part of your guest today.
Okay. I love you to introduce yourself. Maybe we want to know more about you. But let me start
Mm.
with these questions. How do you start as a project management professional, and then how do you end up in volunteer in the chapter?
Hmm. Okay, sure. Maybe I'll just do a quick introduction of myself. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I know everybody, all your listeners or all your members, right?
Yep.
So, hello all. My name is Sandy. In case anyone is wondering, my last name is pronounced as Teng.
Deng.
For those who's from Penang or frequently visit Penang for food, right? You probably would have seen my name in one of those signboards in the hawker stores. So
The
it
soup,
is
right?
literally kway teow teng. If you know of it. So the
Okay.
meaning is exactly that, right? Is soup.
Yep.
So that's my last name. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so circling back to your question, David.
Mm.
Why did I or where did I start my project management journey?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yep.
In fact, the last I checked, I am a member of PMI since 2011.
Oh,
That's a long time ago. Of
okay.
course, that was, the intention was to get myself certified and yeah, that was the plan then. And
Okay.
life happens. Um,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I went through the whole classroom training and all,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't push myself through. In fact, I submitted all my hours and got it approved, so I'm good to go for exam.
Mm-hmm.
But as mentioned, life happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a break from studying and getting ready for exam,
Mm-hmm.
and that break was way longer than I expected. I eventually went back and then, basically redo the classroom training and everything
Mm-hmm.
back just before the pandemic hit us. In
Okay.
early 2020, I completed my classroom training in February
Mm-hmm.
and I took the exam in August. So I'm a PMP since 2020.
Okay. That is so
Yeah.
interesting because you are almost like 9 years gap when you join the
Yeah,
PMI
yeah.
and yeah.
Exactly. But of course, I think
Mm-hmm.
in between, I didn't renew my membership, but
Yep.
I'm surprised that I actually keep my information and I'm still recognized as a member since 2011.
Yeah, there is that cringe in the system.
Yeah, so that's a bit of my project management certification journey. And
Mm-hmm.
why did I volunteer? That's a very good question. Actually, in fact, I've recently done some reflection to
Mm-hmm.
revisit why did I even start volunteering
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago, I've put up my hand to
Mm-hmm.
sign up as a volunteer with PMI Malaysia chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it all started like, I've come across some posts on LinkedIn and people are sharing
Uh,
about their
okay.
volunteering journey and how it inspires them and, give them um, meaning in life and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's like how are they making an impact, right? And giving back to the community. So that kind of inspired me to, perhaps I could also do that. So that got me thinking. I'm like looking
Mm-hmm.
out for opportunity. And I
Mm-hmm.
think around that time, PMI Malaysia also have the WhatsApp group, I think
Yep.
getting a bit more active, right? And
Yep.
then I see someone posted some volunteering opening on the WhatsApp. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, there were a few different areas, right? I think I remember there's social
Mm-hmm.
impact and
Yep.
some other ones. What really caught my attention was really the WIPM, Women in Project Management, which
Mm-hmm.
I do have a passion, I do want to do my part
Yep.
to support this group and something to uplift the women, empower women. So I thought that that's very aligned with what I have in my heart. So
Mm-hmm.
then I reached out to Gayatri then.
Yep.
Yeah, basically that's how I started. So I was relatively new volunteer then. I know I started 1 year as a normal member
Yep.
support
Mm-hmm.
before before I was offered to become an appointed director at large
Mm-hmm.
with to be part of the board. Of course, that gives me a whole different level of volunteering experience itself, right? I must say, um, it's been a very interesting journey for
Okay, we will definitely will come back to that, as a chapter how it's actually transformed you later. But maybe let's go into the topic today. As we are celebrate the International Women's Day this month, and the
me. Hmm.
theme is actually is to accelerate action toward gender equality, right?
Yep.
Since I'm a guy, right, I always want to ask female counterpart, right, about
Hmm.
all these questions from a female point of view. Because for me, I think for the last, I think 14 years, I was no longer in the corporate life, right? So I probably
Hmm.
this is where that I need to learn from you. Um, Probably let's start with the first question. From your
Sure.
perspective, or from a female perspective, right?
Hmm.
What is the definition of gender equality? Or why is it so important?
Hmm. Well, I think we all have been hearing this term, right? Gender equality.
Yep.
I think broadly it's really, it's all about equal rights,
Mm-hmm.
equal access, equal opportunities. It's about everyone having the same starting point, right? That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair. It's a fair playing field for all. Um, it's about being treated equally, given equal respect, regardless of your gender, whether you are male or female, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on that point, as a matter of fact, right, that to me it doesn't really mean everyone is the same. I think what's more important is acknowledging everyone have different circumstances and needs. And we all go through different phases of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we journey through this thing called life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what's key is really to be, having a fair and just approach in
Mm-hmm.
ensuring everyone has the opportunity to realize and unleash their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think just to put that into context, right? Vision this in your head, a group of people, let's say 5 people, standing
Mm-hmm.
together, and they are trying to see over a brick wall. And what equality would mean in this context is giving everyone the same box to stand on so that they can actually look over the brick wall, right? Well, of course,
Yep.
in this case, if I'm part of the group, I would probably have a little bit of a advantage because of my height of like being a bit slightly above average, right?
Yep.
I think on the other hand, what's more important, I would think, is um, recognizing that not everyone are the same. So that's where
Yes.
equity comes into play. Lack of a better word, some people are just a little vertically challenged. I mean, of course, not
Mm-hmm.
by choice, right?
Yep.
And to be equitable, that would means they will probably need a different size box, or even have additional means like, I don't know, platform shoes to bring them up to height, to give them the height that they need to be able to really see over the wall. Right? I think
Mm-hmm.
this is what equity is all about. So basically, it's having a tailored solutions to cater for specific needs of specific individuals rather than assuming that everybody needs the same thing, right?
Okay.
And I mean, to put myself in this context, maybe 20, 30 years down the road, I would probably be one of those that would need a bigger box or a platform shoes, right, to be able to see over the wall because
Yep.
I may be vertically challenged a bit by then. I don't know, shrinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so that's really it. So in essence, I would think equality is the end goal, but equity is really the strategy that will help us towards achieving equality.
Mm. Interesting perspective from you is for I always think of yeah, I totally agree with you. Again, I want to talk from my point of view, right? I'm a male,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
When I always look at the equality or equity is about giving a chance to anyone, right? Anyone who have a bit disadvantageous. Like for your case, you say that the vertical challenge, right? Some are
mm-hmm,
actually not tall enough. Some are tall. Then you need to give the people who are shorter a bit that they are maybe a bench or something so that they can stand
mm,
e-
mm,
equal with you, so that you can everybody can actually see through the wall, opposite. I think that you are referring to the one that the playing a game field, so that everybody can see that, right? Um,
yep.
I for me is from the male side is that for female, uh, my perspective is always that a female is always the most intelligent. I don't know, maybe from my
Wow.
school time, right? Most of the girls always get the most A's, right? And I'm the naughty one, so I always get only one or two A's. So that is me. But ladies normally they have the intelligence. You know, again, this from a male perspective, right? And they will have a higher chance to get a better position. But definitely, when you come to the workplace, now we are talking about the workplace, right? And
Mm-hmm,
in the workplace, a lot of employers they are prefer the male over a female because of certain things like guys may not have certain disadvantages, or female have a certain disadvantages of the physics or something like that, and that's why that the guy will get more job, more salary, more things, right? And and that will actually disadvantages to the ladies, correct? and and
mm-hmm,
and because of that, gender equality is always about how can we help ladies or females to have a same opportunity of doing things. That is always my
mm-hmm.
understanding. I'm not sure whether I'm correct.
Yep, yep, yep. I think we are aligned. Going back to the vision that I talk about, like,
Mm,
a group of people trying to look over the wall. Imagine there's like a combination of men and
yep.
women, right? And women, I mean, typically their physics are um they're taller, so they
Mm-hmm.
may not even need a bench, right? So or this
Yep.
or a box. So then that's really how you want to create the equity is like, the man could just give up the box, give it to the lady who needs it so that, they both have the same view. That's
Mm-hmm.
getting, I mean, that's being equitable, and hence you actually achieve equality in that sense, right?
Mm. Mm. So I think we are all. I think we are all aligned on this. I think yes, you say that is. But what are the challenge right now? Right, like for me, I always as you know, I've already left the corporate life for the past 14 years. I think.
Wow.
What are the challenge that actually faced by the ladies, and probably something that you need to get alert for the male to aware. Do you have an example, anything that you can share with us?
Um, I think it's really, the old saying, don't judge a
Mm-hmm,
book by its cover. I mean, as
mm-hmm,
old as it gets, there's still truth to that, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, do not assume just because we are women, we
Mm-hmm.
are less capable, we are not able to do as good a job as what the men can do, right? I think first of all, the perception, the perspective have to be right. I think, yeah, there's always the stereotype, especially in this part of the world, right? As being Asians, that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, woman, you are like, clerical work, administrative, you can't do big deals,
Mm-hmm.
big business. I mean, there's always a stereotype, right? Which I believe many women leaders out there has proven this wrong.
Yep.
In fact, there are many women leaders out there that are actually um, the CEOs. They are actually managing. They have got this management level that's
Yep.
reports to them, and majority of them are male.
Yep.
Right. I think to give you a bit of perspective, specifically for Malaysia, I think there's this 30% club, right? They also have a
Yep.
Malaysia chapter, and they have started this whole campaign of like having the board CEOs to join and also
Mm-hmm.
advocate for women leadership. So as of last year, 2024, they have actually achieved 34% of women being in the leadership position, they're within the top 100 listed companies. I think that's a
Oh,
pretty good achievement,
that's
and
good. Yep.
that's from 2015 they are only at like 14%, and they have actually
Mm-hmm.
reached 34% last year. So that's really good progress there.
That is a good point. I think 34% that the woman in the top management side. I think that is good. But I think I want to come back to this topic shortly, because um
Mm,
I have a different perspective. But I want to come back to this question. Um, for the gender equality, right? How is it benefit to organization like UOB, or even like PMI Malaysia as a community? How is it benefit to the company or the community?
mm. Okay, maybe I want to start off with the PMI community. I think,
Yep.
I mentioned earlier, I
Mm-hmm.
I work I first signed up as a member back in 2011, right?
Yep.
I think I can see PMI has evolved, has changed over time, and it's fascinating to me because the experience back then was like, it's just a non-profit organization. I'm just a member, and there's not much of rah-rah. I don't see there's anything beyond the ordinary. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I can liken that to like nasi lemak biasa. It's the
Mm-hmm.
usual suspect. No
Okay.
surprises. It's the same old boring packaging. But the
So
thing
it's a
is,
all the meal organization, you mean, is it?
perhaps it
Mm-hmm.
feels very bland, very square kind of thing. But
Totally agree
it's
with you.
but the thing is, now that I know I'm back, I can totally see the difference. I mean, at the end, they are still serving nasi lemak, right? But it's
Yep.
it's it's with a twist. It's totally
Yep.
different thing altogether. It's like, think nasi lemak cake, you know. Even like nasi lemak served in a cup. It basically they still do what they do best, but I
Mm-hmm.
think they have evolved and morphed into catering for the changing needs, over time. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting. And being part of the board in the current term, I think that has given me more opportunities, right, to participate in PMI events that's organized, by the AP team and all that. That really gives me a different vibes altogether, that it's so vibrant. The PMI event feels like to me it's always like a celebration, it feels almost
Mm-hmm.
like a festival. It feels very upbeat, very exciting. It gives
Mm-hmm.
me that kind of vibe. So it's very different from that boring, plain old thing that I seen back in 2011. And I
Yep.
reckon that this is largely contributed by the construct of the current team that make up of PMI. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's so diverse, and I think they have also started their own DEI culture, being inclusive, which is I think is evident, in being in the board of directors or the support team, for us, uh, Suhyun and City and all, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's really bursting with energy. So it's very different. I think the experience is something that's I'm not expecting out of a non-profit organization, which is really great.
Okay. That's PMI Malaysia. So that is what you are benefit from.
Hmm.
Yep. But how is it benefit? For an organization, it want to practicing gender equality. How is it benefit to the organization that like the
I think
company?
in the
Yep.
organization, one very good example is the current one that I'm attached to, right?
Mm,
Case in point, UOB.
mm,
Our current CEO is the very first female appointed CEO in UOB,
okay.
and it's different, I would say, the moment that she has stepped up to be in position. Um, I must say I've seen the challenges. It was not easy, having to be in that position and have her direct reports like 90% male and some even younger. Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, older than her. Meaning these are all, seasoned bankers and whatnot, right? So
Yep.
it's really not easy for her to be able to take control and drive the organization the way she intended it to be, right? So that took some time.
Mm-hmm.
I think as women, I feel that many times just because we are women, we have to double or even triple our effort, to show ourselves that we can get the job done,
Mm.
which which I mean, lack of a better word, it's really unfair.
Okay. Okay. Probably let me come back to these questions. Again, 34% you say that now the most of the corporate lead by the women, right? Uh, I want to bring down a few notch down. Okay,
Mm,
this is what I personal experience. Even though that I'm not in the corporate life, I've been experienced maybe both in the chapters and also I do connect. I'm a trainer. I do talk to my participant and so on and so forth. And I noticed that um, when it come to gender equality, it is I always say that it's a two hand to clap to make a sound, correct?
mm,
And
agree.
and one side is where the organizations open up the opportunity for the female, but
Mm-hmm,
another side is where the female maybe because of um, imposter syndrome, maybe I don't know, or maybe they don't believe that they are capable of doing so, or because they are holding on the family or something, they don't want to step up, right? That is what I'm looking at. This and how can we actually help on this scenario?
Hmm. I think there are many reasons why women in particular refuse to step up, right?
Yep.
Um, I mean, I won't be able to cover everything. Maybe we just
Yep.
zoom in a little bit. Perhaps, I would think, also maybe speaking a bit from my own experience, it do
Mm-hmm.
not feel safe. You know, there's no safety net, right?
Mm.
There's no, the environment doesn't feel safe and allow them to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be truly ourselves sometimes. Hence,
Mm-hmm.
then we will have this hesitation and holding back. And yeah, I suppose it's is that maybe in my current context, as I mentioned, my current CEO is a lady, right? And
Mm.
she is a big champion of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And she always encourages us, all men, women alike,
Mm-hmm.
to step up, to go out of your own comfort zone, challenge yourself. Um, I think that helps, having it hear that from her herself, that gives me some assurance that, perhaps I could give it a try because she's so open about this, right? She's like she wants to give opportunity to everyone, especially those who put up their hand and say, yes, I want to give it a
Mm-hmm.
go. So I think it's really creating this environment where we feel like maybe it's safe to try, as opposed to well when probably back in those days when I first started working, I was in a construction uh, organization
Mm-hmm.
where I think all of you know construction means it's like every corner you turn is all male, right?
Yep.
You are probably that handful of ladies around. That is a totally different thing altogether. No, you're just there to do our job. That's it. Nothing more. Don't think too much. Don't even try. Don't even challenge status quo. Whereas
Mm.
now where my CEO actually openly say it out loud, so it's like, go for it. So I think that kind of open conversation helps to give us the safety net to say that, yeah, perhaps we could give it a try. Sometimes I think many times when we are pushed out of our own comfort zone, of course, it's not comfortable. But I must
Okay.
say that many times, from my own experience, I'm actually surprised myself that, what I'm capable of doing. So, yeah.
Okay. So I hear you saying that. Uh, m- Again, I just want to bring a few notes down because if I say our conversation is always on the top, it may not be related to most of the audience here. Let, as if we are in the middle management or even just a leaders or even a project managers, I think what I hear from you is that a lot of time, a lot of women may not feel safe, psychologically safe, for them to step up, right? They don't feel the there is a support from from the peers or from the management for them to step up.
Hmm.
That's what I hear from what you are saying. So what for so again come back to the topic, right? It's about accelerate the actions toward the gender equality. uh so what is needed, in order for us to achieve that, like from maybe from a female perspective or even from me as a male perspective, what what do you think that we need to do in order to achieve that?
I think first of all, give them the safe space, the safe
Mm-hmm.
environment, so that they can, they can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think many times they shy away from speaking up, right?
Yep.
I think first thing first is really to give them the avenue to enough airtime, right, to speak up. Um, I think that itself will help them to feel at ease,
Mm-hmm.
and when they are heard, they feel more confident to do more. I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times it's also got to do with the confidence, right? Sometimes it's because of this stereotype that like woman has got limited capabilities, so
Mm-hmm.
we just like, okay, keep quiet and just get going day in day out, do the same thing, and never really get out of the comfort zone and try to do more, right? I think it is really providing them with the space, give them the airtime so that they can be comfortable. And of course, I think support is very important. That they have to feel supported and to have that safety net, right? In case they fall, there's always a net to catch them and they are able to get back up.
Okay. So we need to provide them a safety net for them to fall.
Well, I
In,
think
in,
nobody is perfect, right?
yep.
Sometimes we learn through trial and error. That's part of the progression that we make, right? I mean, it's really like, I mean, I personally believe that there's no such thing as perfection, but what's
Mm-hmm.
important is really progression, right? It's that one small step that you take each time that will actually propel you forward. I think that's what really matters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else actually, at least from the male perspective, uh, what else that I can do to help a female to be to be themselves?
I think giving them the encouragement as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we, being human or women specifically, we are not sure. So the affirmations will help us
Mm-hmm.
to gain the confidence, to gain the courage, right? To just,
Yep.
try new things, do something out of the norm. Because I believe if you keep doing the same thing over again, you're just gonna get the same outcome. If you want
Yep.
something different, it has to be a breakthrough and you have to do things differently. And that sometimes feels probably scary for women, when you don't have that support, you don't have that safety net and all that. So I think having those things in place will help us to take the step forward.
Yeah, I think what you are saying is probably uh, something that remind me my own personal experience. Uh, Recently I've been like encourage a lot of ladies. You know that in our chapter we have a lot of ladies. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, they approach me and sometimes I approach them. I do uh, give them a safety net for them to have a conversation with me, right? Everything that talk to me is always safe within in these two uh, within us, you know. And
Hmm.
then I always tend to give encouragement uh, for them to step up or to move forward, whatever the goal they want to be. But my biggest challenge, right, from a guy's perspective, is that sometimes we when we are saying out loud, saying that we encouraging you, we are helping, we want to help you to do that, but it's always hard to maybe gain the trust from the ladies.
Hmm. Why is that so?
I don't know. It's just this is something that I try to encourage, to talk to, you know. But definitely from my side is I always uh try my best, right?
Mm,
I only can do as long that you willing to move, I would move. If you're not willing to move, then I just step away, right? That is always my policy. I will not push it forward, right? Um, I
mm,
don't know. Maybe I looking at my others peers, right? I'm seeing other project managers, uh, guys. They are also doing the same. I've been talking to them. What are their biggest challenge? They always say that they are trying to encourage them to do, but somehow they just don't do, or they don't proceed. How? What else can we do? You know,
mm.
to support?
Sounds
Yeah.
sounds like to me we need a replica of you, but a woman version.
So maybe the only we need to approach some female leaders to get the conversation across.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know, but
Mm,
it's like speaking from my own experience when I first have a coach of my own. I mean,
mm-hmm.
we of course do the matchmaking, and there
Yep.
were a few coaches available, right?
Yep.
For myself, I actually preferred a lady coach rather than a man. I think
Okay.
the reason why so is I felt like I could build the rapport easier with another woman. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
I think secondly, it's also um, maybe it's my expectation, I don't know, right? But I felt like when women talk, I think it's easier
Mm.
for them to comprehend where I'm coming from, especially, sometimes certain things could be a bit personal. It could
Sensitive.
be, yeah, sensitive, or it could be very specific to women, which we think, nah, the male may not be able to understand, right? I mean, they can't literally put themselves in our shoe in that sense. So I think, yeah, that was my criteria when I was like choosing between the few coaches that
Mm.
matches, and that's how I landed on the one that I have chosen. So it's really that. I mean, that was my preferred choice to have a woman.
Okay.
So yeah, perhaps you should have someone, get someone up to speed to be your replica, but the woman version.
Okay. Again, I sense a bit of inequality there.
I suppose, when you have that kind of conversation, sometimes it can go a bit
Mm.
deep, right? And it's a bit
Yep.
heart to heart talk, and I suppose you need to have that connection, which I have to admit sometimes men just don't get it. I mean, I'm not being biased, but sometimes it's just like, oh, you're not really there with me.
Yeah, so you know that I'm a coach. I have connection to the coach coaches community in Malaysia. I probably want to find out this. I want to do a bit research on all the coaches between male coach and the female coach. See how many gender opposite genders client they have on that. Maybe
I think,
I will
yeah.
do this good study on that and see how we can resolve the issue.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Please share your findings. I'm interested to know as well.
Yeah, yes, that's why I always and for me as a male coach, male trainer, as also a male leaders, I always try my best to help the female my female team members or my females colleagues or even peers and so on and so forth. Uh, I always sense that is a barrier, and this barrier need to break. If else, it's hard for us to, I think, to get to know each other. Maybe,
I
right?
agree.
Uh, and definitely, I don't know. Looking at the world's politics, geopolitics at this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
DE&I is at risk right now. Okay, and and I hope that the country that are still pretty much supporting on DE&I, they will continue with the program. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely would love to support on this. And I always want to see that there is a break of barriers so that we can actually support each other.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's really encouraging to hear from you, you know, that you continue to advocate and support the women. On all the women's behalf, thank you very much.
No, I think that's what I know something both of us that we can actually do as part of individuals or in the community. I think that is something that we can do. That again, that is of my own experience in terms of
Mm,
gender equality and inequality. Okay,
mm,
based on what you have you share, right? So that is something that
yeah.
I think. Um, so let's come back to again to the topic to the this to accelerate the actions toward the gender equality. Um, what will be your advice? What will be your message to the audience or even to me
Mm.
to in order to practice gender equality?
Um, well, it's nothing rocket science, right? I think my recommendation is take the baby steps forward. Um,
Mm-hmm,
I think what's key is be intentional about it. You know, I believe everything starts with you, right?
mm-hmm,
And well, it can be as easy or as simple as your ABCs. ABCs in the sense that A for awareness, be
mm-hmm,
aware of your own actions, your own words. Simple exercise. Ask yourself what you do on a daily basis and the things that you say. Does that help to narrow the gap or is otherwise? It is really all these small changes in your daily activities, conversation that will make the difference in the long run. You know, I felt it's really putting it in action and you practice it intentionally, and I believe that that will manifest, right? Because then you start to also influence people around you
mm-hmm.
with that. I think the second one, you know, this is PMI's culture value, and I like it. Be welcoming.
Yep.
It sounds so simple, right? But uh, personally, sometimes practicing that consistently can be challenging at times, you know, especially again, speaking from my own experience, like when you deal with someone that you cannot see eye to eye. I think that's when I will have to remind myself, you know, I need to do a bit of prep talk, right? That I I need to be fair and don't
Mm-hmm,
jump into conclusions and you know give them a chance before I conclude. And I think ultimately what I always tell myself is I think it's better to have more allies than to have an additional enemy, right? So it's
yep.
better to to amend and make friends. So be welcoming to all. So that's your B for you.
Mm-hmm,
And the last one, I think curiosity, you know, stay very curious. Um, Always give people the benefit of that, right? And approach people with an open mind and be receptive of what they can tell you. I mean, give them the space to express and to speak up. I think that's important because I think sometimes we being human, we do not um, listen to others genuinely. We
mm-hmm,
actually listen to to speak. We basically jump in or we cut off people, right? It
Mm-hmm.
basically just don't give them enough airtime and space to basically even complete the sentence sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that take away the whole curiosity part, right? So yeah, I think it's really boils back down to your A awareness. Be welcoming and stay very curious.
Mm. I
And
love
of
I
course,
love
I
your.
think yeah, consistency is really key. I know we being human, we're not perfect, but I
Mm.
think as much as us being intentional about it, I think that keep us going. It's really the small steps that would be my parting message, if you would like.
Yeah, I love this ABC. I think we have somebody to just comment in also he also loved the ABC. Um, one thing that I want to ask you, right? Uh, we are still living in the world in the reality world that we are still not perfect, correct?
Hmm.
Um, what will you say to those who either have experienced or seen a gender inequality? What will you ask them, or what will you tell them to do?
Um, I would say let's redefine possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, whatever happened, happens. We can't change the past. But I
Mm-hmm.
think what's important is the past does not define the future. You know, it does not equate or mean that's how it's going to happen in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really what we do today that will impact tomorrow and define what's going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think be in the present and be intentional about all that you do and you say to really reshape what you aspire the outcome to be.
Okay. So you those who are seeing the gender equality, speak up your mind, right? And
Mm.
tell what you're seeing as it is.
Well, I think that one sometimes you got to track with caution as well, right? But I suppose
Mm,
it's really I mean you don't have to immediately go and jump off, you know, from a cliff or something like that. That's not what I'm asking, but really it's really the baby steps, right? At your own comfort level, take the step forward to towards what you aspire the outcome to be. You know, be it
mm,
having that um equality. It's simple things that we do, and you know, being like you say, the D&I is not what did you say? It's not surviving, it's not doing well. But I suppose it's also again what we can do within our means, right? To be
mm,
inclusive. It could be
yep,
simple gesture like, you know, you see someone in the office sitting there having their own lunch. Maybe
yep,
that person is shy or for whatever reason, I think it's easier to invite them. You know,
mm-hmm,
it's like we pull them and say like, hey, come join us for lunch, for tea, whatever. I think it's always easier to pull rather than to try to push your way in. Let's say I'm the one sitting in the corner, you know, I see this group of people having a good laugh there, having lunch.
yep,
I think it's a lot more harder for me if I want to kind of jump in and join the group rather than when it's as opposed to them inviting me to be part of them, right? So it's
yep.
all these little things that we can do and in you know our daily encounter with others that we will make a change.
Mm, great. I think, yeah, I think this is, I think again, the action is always two-sided. You know, to make a clap, they must have a two hand, and both sides have to clap so that
Mhm.
to have the clap sound right. So yeah,
Yep.
I think what you are saying is pretty amazing. I think we have learned a lot of things from you. again, thank you, Sandy, for your sharing. I think your sharing are so in depth. Um, I learned a lot of things from a male perspective, and I just to share with you, I'm more protect. I am going back to the corporate life again very soon, and
Ah, okay.
I will be I will be definitely facing a lot of D and I ladies and all kind of peoples in my corporate life. Definitely, whatever that you are saying, that will definitely I will be taking on as an advice for me to practice in the corporate life. I also believe that the audience have learned so much from you today. If the audience want to learn more, can they connect with you in the LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, drop me a message. If anyone wants to um take the conversation deeper on a one-to-one or just
Mm,
ping me. Yeah.
okay.
Happy to be able to also offer support in any way that I can.
That's great. So I'll be sharing your LinkedIn profile on my social media posts and also in the description on the YouTube. If for the audience, if you want to connect with Sandy, please do connect with her directly. It's all there. Again, thank you, Sandy, for being here. For the audience, thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope that this is actually benefit to you. It's definitely benefit to me a lot. As I mentioned, I'm going to prepare myself back to the corporate life. If you like it, if you like this podcast, please do subscribe to my channel or join my house for the future podcast. Please do like and share it freely. If you have any comment, or please leave it below. If you have any topic you want to learn, please also drop it in the uh, comment below. To the ladies, happy International Women's Day and send it to you also.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for having me. It's
Yep,
really been a pleasure and honor to be invited as your guest tonight, right? I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
great.
And really appreciate you giving me this platform to share my thoughts and stories. And one last um, little secret that I'm gonna let out the bag now is like doing this is really getting out of my own comfort zone.
Mm-hmm,
In fact, this is the very first podcast that I'm doing.
mm-hmm.
Kind of nerve-wracking at the beginning, but I thank you for putting me at ease and having a very pleasurable conversation throughout. Thank you. And thank you to all your listeners. And I hope you have found something valuable and inspiration to do your part to accelerate action in whatever small ways. Nothing is too small to make an effect. It's a
Yep,
compounding effect, right? So, yeah. Thank
yep.
you.
Okay, again, thank you. Again, to the order, everyone, for the ladies, especially, happy International Women's Days. Until the next podcast, please continue to be successful in whatever project that you are doing. Um, we are end now. Thanks. Bye.